So in today's lesson, we're going to create this very cool circular polygon effect. So I'm just going to start with a fresh Cinema 4D scene. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a plane. And I'm just going to set the width to 60 and the height to 70. I'm just going to go into hidden line mode. And I'm going to set width and height segments to 1. So we've got a single polygon. I'm going to make this editable. And I'm just going to adjust the anchor. So I'm going to turn on move anchor. Also, I'm going to enable snapping. Hold it down again, choose edge snap. Then hold it down again and choose midpoint snap. And then I'm just going to move this anchor back and it should snap right in the middle there. In the middle of the edge. So I'm just going to turn these two off. And now if we rotate this, it should rotate nicely along pitch like that. I'm just going to reset that. I'm going to create a cloner and make the plane a child of the cloner. And I'm just going to get rid of Y and I'm going to move it along Z, minus Z. And it should be minus 70 because that was the height of the polygon. So minus 70, and it's got a nice kind of edge to edge alignment. I'm just going to create some more clones, maybe 12, like that. So now we've got this single strip. I want to apply a taper to this, so I'm just going to go to Deformers, Taper, and I'm just going to bend this. So I know I want to rotate it this way. I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees along X. And now I'm just going to adjust the dimensions. So this length I think is 60 because the polygon's 60. That's strange, maybe 100. Okay. That's really weird. This can be flat, 0, and then I'm just gonna increase the length. This should be 70 times 12, the height of the polygon times there's 12 of them. And I'm just gonna get this into place. I think minus 420 seems about right. Back to my taper. And I'm gonna get rid of curvature, I'm not interested in it. And I'm gonna increase strength. And I do want this kind of triangular taper. The thing is, it's not applied to the cloner, and we can't apply it as a child because it's just going to mess everything up. So I'm going to take this out, and what we do is we select both and then we hit Alt-G to group. And now that the taper is in the same null as the cloner, it's taking effect. So that looks about right. I want to strip exactly like this, triangular in shape. So I'm just going to hide the taper from the viewport and have a look. Yep, that looks pretty good. I'm going to grab a cloner, another cloner, and I'm going to make this a child of that cloner. And I do not want linear, I want radial. And I want plane XZ like that. And I'm just going to adjust the radius to about, I'm going to zoom in, 631. We can use a formula to kind of align this accurately, but the formula is very complicated, so I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm going to increase the count like this. Now we can make this very cool kind of circular arrangement. And if you can zoom in, you can see the kind of gaps. So I'm just going to adjust the count until there's no gap. That seems about right, and then I'm just going to kind of tweak my radius till I'm happy. So about here, that seems to snap nicely, 88, 630. So we end up with this pretty dense kind of cloner. Now I'm going to turn this off, and I'm just going to go back to my strip. I'm going to click on my cloner, my original cloner here, and I'm going to add a plane effector. And I'm just going to get rid of position, and I'm going to use rotation instead, pitch. So I'm going to set that to -90, and it makes everything flap up like that. I'm going to set the fall off to linear, and I'm just going to move that out the way. So I do want it to start like this. So I'm just going to, I'm actually going to move my plane effector and my null there, so everything's kind of nice and organized. And I'm just going to make sure that my plane effector is on this cloner, but not on this cloner. So that's cool. Back to the plane effector, I'm just going to add some keyframes. So I want the animation to start at 10 frames. Keyframe here, Control click. And I'm going to go to frame 100 and knock them down like this. Place a keyframe here. So we have this animation. And I'm just going to hide the plane effector so I can see my animation better. Another thing I want to do is I want to go to scale and then set the Z scale, it should be to -1. So basically they kind of appear and move down like this. And I'm just going to exaggerate this angle to maybe -137, something like that. That's better. I'll just play this back. That looks good. So I'm just going to turn my cloner back on, my master cloner, and see what happens. So if you did everything correctly, you should see this sort of animation. Now this is running very slowly, so I'm just going to go and check render instances. Hopefully this should speed things up. And it did indeed, but it seems to have changed the alignment. So I'm just going to turn render instances on in my first cloner. I think the count was 88 and 630, yeah. Okay, that's running back a lot faster. So if you experience any lagging issues, basically checking render instances can really help. Oh, so I seem to have checked it on my master cloner, on the main one, but not on this one. It seems to create some weird overlapping issues. But that's playing back a lot nicer now, like that. So we're almost done. All we have to do is just add some more randomness into this. So I'm just going to cheat. I'm just going to take my null group and then duplicate it. So that's like a separate strip now. And I'm just going to go in there and I'm just going to offset my plane effector animation by 2 frames like this. So now when I play this back, we've basically got like an offset effect. And you can create a few more copies. Just make sure they're all inside the cloner. And I'm just going to offset the animation a bit more here, maybe make it finish later. So that's 3 copies, and then maybe just 1 more. Put that there, make this one finish about a bit quicker. So I'm just going to play this back. And that's looking pretty random. I'll leave the material options up to you, but that is the very basics of it. Feel free to experiment, take it further. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.